Hi, welcome back to Life on the Blues Highway. Since I recorded the last video, a few minutes ago actually, I thought about Honeyboy Edwards, whose picture of his hands on his guitar you see behind me, and I decided to tell you about the last gig we played together and what life was like for me and Honeyboy between that time and the time of his passing. The last gig, two gigs that Honeyboy Edwards and I played were at the Clarksdale, Mississippi Juke Joint Festival, which is the second weekend in April every year. And that's a wonderful time to be down in the Mississippi Delta. The weather's usually good, it's warm, mosquitoes are not out yet. You can walk around in your shirt sleeves mostly, and it's a neat little town with a lot of music and culture going on during that time. And Honeyboy and I had played there every year for 5 years, and a few other times prior to that. Some of the time we played, a couple times we played the Sunflower River Blues Festival in August, and every year we played the Juke Joint Festival. So we were invited back for the Juke Joint Festival in 2011. And Honeyboy and I played that on the main stage with Michael Packer Band from New York City. Michael is a guitar player that we had met several years before, who had booked some dates from us in the northeast of the U.S. And so Michael decided to bring his band down to the Juke Joint Festival. And Honeyboy and I really liked his band, so we decided to have them play with us on the main stage at the adjacent to the Delta Blues Museum, which used to be the railroad station in Clarksdale. Anyway, and whenever we went to the Juke Joint Festival, we always did an interview with Honeyboy in the museum on Friday, a Q&A from the audience, and then the performance on the main stage Saturday, and then Sunday we played in front of Cathead Delta Books and Arts on Sunday, around noon. So this year, 2011, was no exception, and we really had a good time. Honeyboy really liked having the full band behind him on the main stage for once. Usually we played as a duo or trio, so he really liked that. The audience really liked it. However, the next day in front of Cathead was even more special and unusual. For those of you who've been to see us, me and Honeyboy Edwards, on tour, you've seen us after our performance at our CD table, where Honeyboy and I would talk with fans, and he would be happy to sign autographs and talk with people until the last fan or staff member had their opportunity to speak with him and get an autograph. And in 2011 at the Juke Joint Festival, Honeyboy lingered a long time. Now, when we were at the Juke Joint Festival in the past, sometimes we would actually drive home to Chicago after our last performance of that weekend. And it's a 10-hour drive with our stops. So we would leave sometimes 2 o'clock in the afternoon. That year we decided not to do so. However, I knew Honeyboy was tired, and his health had been declining. So every 15 minutes or so, I checked back with him after our performance to see if he was tired and wanted to go back to the hotel. Because he was busy chatting away, and people were visiting with him, getting autographs, getting pictures. I was selling his stuff for him and then handing it to him to sign. And in between, when people weren't buying, he would just be talking away. But being the dutiful manager and friend of his that I was for so many years, I periodically would ask him if he wanted to leave or wanted anything, water or whatever. So this particular time, April 18th, 2011, Honeyboy just lingered and lingered and lingered. And after a while, I really, noticed how long he was staying. I was enjoying it too, so I wasn't in a hurry to leave, to take him back to the hotel. But it seemed really odd because he lingered and talked with people for a couple of hours instead of maybe an hour, several hours, until, it was like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And when we went back home, I just thought about that, and it really struck me that, especially as his health continued to decline, and it turned out that that was his last gig. He had, at the age of 96, congestive heart failure. Just his heart wore out, and he was no longer able to perform, even though he really wanted to. So he just went downhill health-wise, physically, after that, and he seemed kind of resigned to the fact that his body was giving out. But that day, the last afternoon in Clarksdale, as I reflect back on it, was really special. Since then, people have sent me photographs of that day, some video, and some pictures of previous Juke Joint festivals that we played at. And I really cherish those because there was no way that I could have known that that would be the last performance anywhere of my dear friend, the late, great David Honeyboy Edwards, with whom I traveled all over the world for almost 40 years. So that's my first new blog post. I'm back. You'll hear from me more often. Obviously, you can see I'm thinking about that. I'm a little choked up. I've had a lot of wonderful experiences during that time with Honeyboy, and since then, I've been to several funerals of several of our friends since Honeyboy's death. Hubert Sumlin died that same year, Big Jack Johnson, Pinetop Perkins, just, this year Jimmy Dawkins, and Artie Blues Boy White. It's always tough, I didn't know some of those guys very well, but I knew their music, and I got to meet them all. So I just want to say this for today. When you get an opportunity to hang out with anybody, cherish that moment as if it's your last, because you don't know how long you're going to, either you or they're going to have together. And we revel in the stories that you share with each other and with other people. One of the things that I've found in going to bluesmen's funerals is that I learned a lot about them that I didn't know, especially how much their families meant to them, and sometimes how little their family really understood about the worldwide blues communities caring about musicians. So I certainly found that out when Honeyboy was declining and after he died. That's really special. So anyway, I don't mean to be morose, but life is fleeting, and so cherish your moments of life on the blues highway. Let me know some of your special moments. See you soon, wherever we happen to meet on the blues highway.